So I'd like to start off by apologizing in advance. Within this speech, there are quite a bit of statistics that I cite, and at times may be a bit hard to follow along, but I tried to tone it down as much as possible. So let's get started. Many of us think that the Great Depression is nothing but a distant memory, a relic of the past our grandparents or great-grandparents had to endure. According to the Stanford Center on Poverty and Inequality, income inequality has increased exponentially to levels not seen since before the Great Depression. While things might not be as challenging as the Great Depression, it's important to look at recent trends which started in the early 1970s. So, to provide an understanding of this, we will look at wage inequality and CEO pay within the United States. So, wage inequality. Starting in the 1970s, economic growth started to falter, and American workers began to see slower income growth. Wealth began to flow to the top at rates not seen since the Roaring '20s. According to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, wealth is much more concentrated than income. The share of wealth held by the top 1% grew from 30% in 1989 to 39% in 2016. During the same time period, the bottom 90% seen their share of wealth fall from 33% to 23%. So income is defined as money being made over a year. Wealth, on the other hand, which is also known as net worth, is defined as all assets taken into account. So there's no one individual source of information that paints this picture. Instead, information is gathered from a variety of sources to give us a better understanding of income inequality trends. The Census Bureau provides a smaller case study due to things like confidentiality issues. The IRS has more data compared to the Census Bureau, but again, it has its limitations due to the fact it looks at information from less than 500,000 Americans' tax returns. However, data from both the IRS and Census Bureau can give us a much better idea of income inequality. Alright, so let's now take a look at CEO pay. Perhaps no bigger gap can be better illustrated than that which has grown between CEO pay and of the average worker. The Stanford Center on Poverty and Inequality says that regarding compensations, CEOs make 185 times more than the average worker in 2009 compared to 1965 when CEOs made 24 times more. The Economic Policy Institute, which is a nonpartisan think tank, estimates that CEO compensation has increased 940% compared to the average worker whose compensation has grown around 12%. On average, public firms have given their top executives around $15 million since the Great Recession. Since 2009, in the aftermath of the Great Recession, top executive pay has risen by 52.6%. In comparison, workers have seen their compensation rise by 5.3% during the recovery from the Great Recession. So, I hope this gives you a better picture of where the accumulation of wealth has been concentrated since the 1970s and the 1980s. So, thank you.